Today, we are diving into one of the most mysterious and powerful visions in the entire Bible, the four living creatures from the book of Revelation. It's this wild, symbolic imagery, and we're going to unpack what it's all about. So the Apostle John describes this scene, and it is just wow. Instantly striking. You've got a throne, a sea of glass, and then these four beasts, or living creatures, absolutely covered in eyes. You might think it sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? But believe me, every single detail here is loaded with meaning. So that's the big question, isn't it? What exactly are these creatures? Are they real? Are they symbols? And what in the world are they doing right there in the very heart of heaven? Okay, first things first, you gotta know this vision isn't just some random, bizarre dream. Most scholars agree this is a super symbolic picture where every single piece represents some deeper theological truth about God and the story of salvation. So the interpretation that most people land on, and the one we're gonna dig into, is that these four creatures are actually symbols for the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The idea is that each creature shines a spotlight on a totally unique part of who Jesus is and what his mission was, as told in those books. All right, let's get into the fun part. We're going to match up each creature to its gospel. This is where the symbolism really starts to pop, and you get this incredible multi-layered portrait of Jesus. First up, the lion. The lion is the king of the jungle, right? It's always been a symbol of power, of royalty. And that lines up perfectly with the Gospel of Matthew, which kicks right off with Jesus' family tree, tracing him all the way back to King David and hammering home that he is the rightful king, the Messiah. Then you've got the ox, or a calf. Now, an ox is a work animal, a beast of burden, a servant. And it was also a primary animal for sacrifice in the Old Testament. This is a dead ringer for the Gospel of Mark, which shows Jesus as this on-the-move, suffering servant, always helping others, and in the end, giving his life as the ultimate sacrifice. And number 3, the eagle. Think about it. The eagle flies higher than any other bird. It has this heavenly perspective, a view from above. It represents divinity. And that is so John. His gospel doesn't start with a human family tree. It starts from this cosmic, sky-high view. In the beginning was the Word. It gives us the most direct look at the divine nature of Jesus. So you might be thinking, okay, a lion, an ox, an eagle, I get it. It all fits. But hold on, because there's this tiny little clue in the language of the text that takes this whole thing to another level. It turns it from just cool symbolism into this massive statement of faith, especially when we get to that fourth creature. Okay, so lean in for this because the exact wording here is everything. For the first 3 creatures, John says they were like a lion, like a calf, and like a flying eagle. See that? Like a. That's the magic phrase. It's telling us this is a symbol, a metaphor. It's not a literal lion, it just has the qualities of a lion. But then we get to the fourth creature, and the pattern just shatters. The writer intentionally changes the wording, and that little change, well, it changes everything. So here's the breakdown. When you see like a, think symbolism. It's a metaphor, a spiritual idea. But when the text switches to had a, that's different. That's not a metaphor. That's a statement of fact. It's talking about something real, something foundational. This tiny grammatical shift is the pivot point for the entire vision. So let's use this key, this linguistic clue, to unlock the fourth creature. Because what it reveals is the absolute bedrock of the entire Christian faith, all hidden right here in this vision. And there it is. The scripture doesn't say the fourth creature was like a man. It says it had a face as a man. Do you see the difference? This isn't just another symbol in the lineup. This is an anchor dropped into reality. And this is where the Gospel of Luke shines, with its deep focus on Jesus' perfect humanity. That phrase, had a face as a man, is a direct confirmation of the incarnation. It's this powerful declaration that Jesus wasn't just like a human, he literally was a man. He came in the flesh, he walked among us, he was real. And in Christian theology, this is not a small thing. This is a non-negotiable, a doctrinal line in the sand. If you look at scripture, like in 1 John chapter 4, it basically says the ultimate test is whether you confess that Jesus Christ came in the flesh. It's the absolute foundation. And you see this idea hammered home all over the New Testament. John 1:14, the famous one, the Word was made flesh. Or Philippians 2, that he was made in the likeness of men. The humanity of Jesus is not a metaphor. It's presented as historical fact. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. What the vision does so masterfully is it holds these two massive ideas in perfect tension: the divine, mind bending mystery of Jesus, and his tangible, boots on the ground reality. So, what you end up with is this incredible, compact summary of the whole gospel. You have three symbols for the deep, mysterious nature of Jesus: his royalty, his sacrifice, his divinity. But all of that mystery is anchored by the fourth symbol, which represents the undeniable, historical fact of his humanity. Real faith, according to this vision, needs all four. And here's something really cool. These symbols don't just pop up out of nowhere in Revelation. They have super deep roots in the Old Testament. The prophet Ezekiel had a similar vision with four living creatures. And get this, these same four symbols are also traditionally tied to the banners of the main tribes of Israel when they camped out in the desert. It just shows this amazing consistency, weaving one single story from beginning to end. And that really brings us to the final takeaway here. This vision of the four creatures, it's not just some ancient riddle to be solved. It's a blueprint for faith itself, a faith that can embrace awe and mystery while being planted firmly on historical truth. So the question it kind of leaves us with is, how does that balance of mystery and fact shape our own perspective today?